Hello, welcome to Transformation Conversations. I'm so glad that you are here with me tonight. Hello. Welcome to all of my people. So glad to get in here to connect and engage with you tonight. If you are new, welcome. I am Coach Gail Benson, and in this community, this is where we come together and we coach up shoulder to shoulder to get through our life experiences, learn something new, and just hold each other up in this safe place. So, I'm happy to be here tonight. We are going to be talking about owning your story. Now, some of you may think, well, I don't have a story, but I beg to differ. Yes, I beg to differ. You do have a story. Good evening, Queen Essentials. Thank you for being on here tonight. It is so good to see you. Thank you so much. Listen, I'm excited about this topic because this is something that I had to actually live through. I didn't have to look this topic up or research it. This is my life experience that I am now able to help you, combining my life experience in professional training to be a survival guide and a light for others who think that they don't have a story. Some of you may say, I don't have a story. I just go to work. I just do X, Y, Z. That is not true. There are some things that are right in front of us. Our journey is our story. It's whether we make the decision to own it. I didn't want to own my story. I did not. So before I get into that, let's do this housekeeping. Y'all know what I'm going to say. Like and subscribe. Get in here and like and subscribe to this thing so we can transform and conversate together. This is my happy space. I get to come in here. I get to talk with you all, and you all give me feedback, you engage, and that helps me so much. I learn from you all. I take in everything that you all share, that you put in the comments. I see it all. And I thank you for the time that you take to do that. Yes, we all have a story, Queen. We really do. We just have to get outside of ourselves. If we step outside of ourselves and get out of our head, what do we think a story is? What do we think we need to have in order to tell our story? You are alive and well, and you are walking this earth. God has blessed you with new mercies to see today. Baby, you have a story. Now, the catalyst to that is, are you willing to embrace your story, own your story, and share your story? That's the question. That's the biggest question. The deciding factor is, are you willing to tell your story? Now, we may not have all of those things in place at the same time. You may be still embracing your story as you're talking about it, as you're sharing it. It's gonna be like a way, it's gonna be different for everyone. So tonight, I am going to share what it looked like for me and how did I learn how to embrace my story. If you've been following me, and Kui been here for a minute, okay, Kui has been a part of my life and my community for a couple of years now. And anyone else that's watching the replay or watching this later, that or as purchased my memoir Pressure, you know a huge portion of my journey and my story. And I ended up in that story really having to acknowledge that story after going through grief, depression, and anxiety. And I'll tell you, I did not want to talk about that. There was my family didn't even know what I was going through. I just kind of alienated myself as I went down this perilous path of depression, anxiety. When I was diagnosed, I tried to talk myself out of that and talk myself through it. No, I don't have the luxury of having a breakdown. You know, when I was growing up, the word they would use is, oh well, you know, she got bad nerves. Her nerves bad, or you know, she had a breakdown, and there was really no clear definition of what that looked like, because in my mind, especially because there was no definition, there was no real clear explanation of what that meant. So her nerves is bad. Whatever I thought that was what I did not want to be. I painted my own picture of what I thought that was because I didn't get any clarity on what nerves bad. What is that? Let's tell people the truth. And that's one thing I try to make sure I foster the honest relationship and conversations with my children, because I remember how lost I was as a child trying to put my own pieces to the puzzle together. Let's grow up and tell these kids the truth, age appropriate truths. Understand what I'm saying? Let's stop sugarcoating and making up tales that our children will embrace and experience the world by that lens of a lie. Let's tell the truth. I didn't know what the nerves bad meant. I didn't know what a breakdown meant, or any of that. So whatever picture I painted, I lived with that picture until 2022. I lived with that picture until 2022. When I was diagnosed, the picture that I had in my mind, I was like, that's not me. I'm not doing that. I'm not falling apart. I'm not, and I was. But to me, I saw physically falling apart. I wasn't physically falling apart. I wasn't clamoring at the walls. I didn't need a straight jacket, but I needed help. And I didn't know it because there was never any conversation, clarification, definition about sharing and talking about how to get help when you need help with your mind. We get a headache, we call it our PCP. We step on a toy or we stomp our foot. After you cuss for a little bit, you go into the doctor because that little crusty little toe on the end is black and blue and it's tore up. You going to the doctor. Your back hurt. You going to the doctor. Don't call for sneeze one time too many. Oh, you got to go get a COVID test. You better go to the doctor. All of these things have been deemed acceptable to even talk about openly, except for when we need help up here. When our mental health is in question or our mental health needs attention, that's not openly discussed, especially not in my community. So that was the hindrance that I had, the brick wall that I was hitting, because I didn't know what I was looking at. I knew something was happening to me. As I went through that journey, I just started falling away. Just different things started happening to me with my health, my mind. I couldn't concentrate. I ended up just like not getting out of that bed. Oh my God, will suck the life out of you. I ended up not getting out of bed. My youngest daughter, I will never forget this. She kept asking me, Mommy, can you please take me to Twisty Trees for some ice cream? Mommy, it's just up the street. I didn't know that this baby was trying to get me out of the bed. She didn't want ice cream that bad. She just wanted me to get out of the bed. Now, she wasn't a toddler. I think Breland was, oh my gosh, she's 18 now, so she might have been 14. No, this was just like 3 years ago. So she was like 15, 14, 15 years old, 14 going on 15. So, people around you see the spiral, but a lot of people in your circle don't know what to say. They don't know how to support you because it's not discussed. So when we take these pieces of our journeys, the parts, especially the parts that don't feel good, that is a part of my story. And when I learned to embrace my story, I was able to gain the confidence along with tools after going through a 14-week group therapy program. I was able to get equipped with tools that taught me how to embrace the journey, give myself grace to be where I was and to feel how I was feeling, but give myself a chance to go forward in life in a different way. Open up my lenses and open up my eyes to do something different and not follow the blueprint that was laid out for me. Because if I had followed that blueprint, I would have never got help. I would have never gotten help, and I probably would have died. I know I would have. I would have died. So, if you want to know all of this story, pick up Pressure, which is now available on Amazon, Barnes& and Nobles, and BlackRoseBooks.com. Y'all know I got to plug that book. I got a child in college. I got a grown daughter that I'm still supporting. I have to sell my book. But I want to be serious. Owning your story it may take a process for you, but I want to give you 3 steps that can help you. Baby, ding, 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 pick it up. Pick it up. But Queen, you're absolutely right. We have to speak up. We can no longer just allow ourselves to suffer in silence. So many people have left here. When I say left here, I mean expired because they didn't speak up. And I think about how close I came to not speaking up, how close I came to not being here because I was ashamed of the diagnosis. I was ashamed of the journey. I felt like I was less than a woman because I could not cope. I couldn't manage. I couldn't do it. My kids, my patients, I couldn't talk to them. Anything they asked me or said to me, my blood was boiling all the time. My marriage was falling apart. My husband was leaving. And it was so bad to the fact I was like, yeah, let me help you pack. Let me help you go where you're going. I mean, it was a very tumultuous time, but praise God, look at me now, still breathing, still having God's grace and new mercies every day, that I am allowed to do something different every day. I am allowed to continue on this journey, but own my story, build and develop my skills to share my story, because that is going to be a survival guide for somebody who needs a breakthrough. That is for somebody who was traveling in that dark place and space that I was in, that needs some light to help them see their way through. So I'm going to give you 3 tips, and there are several, but I'm just going to give you the 3 that stood out for me and that I teach in my group coaching program, Rewrite Your Story. So the first one is embrace vulnerability. There is strength in embracing your vulnerability. And I know, let me tell you, I never wanted to be vulnerable. I felt like I would be being taken advantage of. Hey, T, I see you, sis. Yes, pick it up. I didn't want to be vulnerable because I thought I'd be taken advantage of. And of course, you don't know what they gonna say, what they gonna be. They don't matter. They don't matter when your journey, it has been intentionally carved out just for you. We have to remove ourselves from the box that we allow people to put us in. We have to remove ourselves out of that box. And I'm gonna tell you, you do that jack in the box, because I was doing it. I was in the box, and when I had to perform and look like I was all right, boom, 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 I pop out and I'll be good time Gail, and I'll put on, and I'm trying to, and nobody knew how hard it was for me to even show up. No one knew how hard it was for me to even have a conversation. It was so difficult. I can't explain that to you. And I pray that you never have to understand what that is. But my God, if you do, please reach out and get help, and reach out to me. I will get you in touch with resources, because my job is to help guide you to your light. Because when I tell you, depression is real. Anxiety is real. Accompanied with grief, it is very real and can be fatal for anyone that does not have the tools or the support to get them through those times. It's like functioning around in the dark, and you know you want the light. You feeling around for the light switch and you never find it. That is an awful, awful feeling. So when I tell you, let's get back to these tips, being vulnerable. I had to learn through my group therapy program how to be vulnerable, share my authentic experience. And I'm going to tell you, in that program, I didn't have the strength to pretend anymore. I was breaking down. I had to go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Guaranteed Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I was breaking down. And I'm glad I could laugh at it now. But I was breaking down, and I started to reserve myself because I was like, I shouldn't be sharing this much with these people. I can't be telling them my business. You want to be in the business of dying? No, no. When you have people there to support you, you are their business, because you have to be true and transparent so they understand the best way to help you and what tools you need that you can embrace so that you can independently heal and go on about your life, because you can't stay in group therapy forever. It is phenomenal to have a support system, but you have to learn how to embrace the tools, implement them, and grow along the way. I tell people all the time, I had to learn how to grow through grief and learn from loss and take my own advice and see and understand that tomorrow there is a tomorrow. There was a time where I didn't think there was a tomorrow, and nor did I want to see it. But tomorrow is another opportunity. We cannot make plans for finality. It is not our job. I can't do God's job for him. I don't get to say when I leave here. He did not allow me to go out like that. I'm not in control to maneuver and manipulate my time here. I don't have that power. And he reminded me of that. I still have work to do. And although it was hard work, it was worth every bit of effort that I had to do to claw. And when I say claw, I mean claw my way out of where I was. So the first step that I did was embrace being vulnerable. Even the difficult times, try to connect with other people on a deeper level. When I say connect, I mean talk to people who understand what you're going through. Because one of the things that I could not stand talking to people, I couldn't talk to people. My attention span did not allow me to do it, let alone talking, trying to open up and tell someone and find the words to explain what I was going through. I could not find the words. I could not. Only the people that were in that group who had experienced this knew exactly what I was going through when I didn't have the words to explain. I didn't have the words. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to describe it. All I felt was the anxiety and the overwhelming sense of loss. I cannot describe it to you, and I pray you never have to experience that. So, the next tip that I learned was I had to find lessons. I had to sit down, and that was one of the harder things, is to reflect. And I had to find lessons in what I was learning and find lessons in what I was going through. And at that time, I didn't want to do that. I don't want to find a lesson in my mom dying. There was no lesson in that for me other than sheer pain, grief, not wanting to even, not being able to cope and be here without her. There was no lesson in that if you had asked me at that time. I had to find the lessons. And slowly, as I continued in the program, slowly I started learning some of the key things that I needed to remember about my experience and about my journey. Now, I didn't embrace everything. I didn't eat all the pie at one time. They were spoon feeding me that pie, okay? I had to be spoon fed that pie because nobody's going to eat the whole cow in one sitting. I don't care how good they cook the ribeye. You're not going to eat the whole cow in one sitting. You have to learn, embrace the learning portion of the process, but continue, make the decision to continue to do it and go through it. So I'm going to recap. The first one, I had to embrace being vulnerable. The second step was I had to find lessons and reflect on what I learned about my journey and share with people on a deeper level, even the difficult parts of my story. And the last one was I learned that I had to use my voice. I had to learn how to not be afraid to speak up and tell my story. And you never know, it just comes out. You don't plan, you don't plot who you're going to talk to. That's how good God works. He aligns you with people. When you embrace your story and you get the tools and you apply them to life, and you start sharing that truth in your transparency, because people will see the truth in your story and how passionate you are about the progress you've made, the healing that you've gone through, and that will encourage them and they will open up and they will begin to talk to you, and you start just sharing and having a conversation, and as you're talking and sharing, you are shining light on their situation, and that dark place no longer seems so dark to them. The breakthrough seems a little more obtainable to them now. The breakthrough seems real now, and they feel supported because you understand exactly what they're facing, or for the majority of it, you understand. That is you giving them hope. That is you sharing and giving them a survival guide, something that I did not have. So that is why I do what I do. I do what I do, number one, because I love it and God gifted me with it. And I had to embrace that. That is my journey. That is my gift, and that is my calling. And I gladly do it. That is why, because I didn't have it. My job is to give to you, anybody that watches the replay, give you a survival guide when you feel like you just can't damn make it. I know what that is. I've rested there for a long time. So that is why I come here, to help, to shine a light, to bring out the survival guide. Bam! I have my survival guide. I have my notes, as my mother would say, in decent and in order. And I just want to go through a few things with you so that you can take with you after you watch this video. Again, thank you for watching. And if you have not already, come on and like and subscribe. Hit that bell so you could be notified when we come on to coach each other up so we can navigate through life's journeys together. So I'm going to dig down into my notes about owning your story. I touched on three tips about helping you own your story, which is embracing vulnerability. And I forgot the second one already. And the third one, embrace vulnerability. I'm really trying not to go back and look at my notes, but I will. Embrace vulnerability. I had to find lessons in my journey and what I was experiencing, and I had to be confident in using my voice to tell my story. So, what did I do through this whole process? I had to understand what I thought my personal narrative was. I had to be conscious of the self-talk and how I talk to myself. That internal dialogue, it is going to drive you to where you are going. Either you're going to drive to grow, or you're going to drive yourself down into the pit. Your language is going to drive what direction your life is going to go in. Because I'm going to tell you something. Your mind and your body pay attention and they follow instructions. So whatever your mind tells your body, that's where you're going. And you know, several songs say it. Control the mind and your body will follow. That is the truth if I've ever heard it. En Vogue had a song, Free Your Mind and the rest will follow. Free your mind. When you remove the scales off of your eyes on how you used to think, you start challenging the negative beliefs and ingrained beliefs that you have simply from life experiences. Some of it comes from how we were raised and the child rearing that we receive. We didn't get choices as children. These kids today get all kind of choices. I don't know where that comes from. Yes, you have to relentlessly pursue healing and growth. Yes, Queen, thank you. I mean, you cannot stop. You have got to go after that thing. You have got to want it. You have got and believe that you can have it. Believe and understand that it is a growth process. Embrace it one day at a time. You cannot give up on yourself. You cannot give up on your dreams. You have to continuously seek and healing. I'm continuously healing. I'm going to always be in grief because my mother is not coming back here. So I am learning. I'm growing through the grief every single day. Are there days when I still cry? Yeah. Not as often as I used to 5 years ago, not as often as I used to 3 years ago, not as often as I did last month. But even with the cries, it's simply because I love my mother, and in the flesh, I miss her. But I know she is with me. She is watching over me. But in the flesh, I am a human being. I miss her. So I'm growing every single day. And you have the same opportunity to grow every single day towards owning your story. So be careful of your own narratives. Challenge those negative thoughts, challenge them, unlearn some things that we may have learned as children that don't serve us today. We have the authority and the opportunity to do that. You can change your outlook, get a new prescription, change those lenses out, take them glasses off, put some new ones on, get you some contacts. I don't know how you're going to adjust your vision, but see yourself successful. See yourself living differently. See yourself living out your dreams and know that the journey that you are on is intentional. Your story matters. Your story has power in it. Your story is intended for others. You have conquered so much that you don't give yourself credit for. If you just sit and just dissect, write a list of everything you've conquered just this year. Don't even go 10, 20 years ago. Just this year, in the last 9 months, the things that you have overcome. Turn those limiting beliefs and those negative thoughts, turn that around and flip the script and empower yourself to say, dang, I went through this, that, and other, but I am a conqueror. I did do this. I am able. God is able. Talk to yourself, because I'm telling you, your mind and your body are paying attention. They are following instructions. And what you say to yourself about yourself, it's going to believe it. It is going to believe it. So trust me when I tell you, if you're doing affirmations, it's not for nothing. Tell yourself who you are. You give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to grow. Give yourself permission to break away from the monotony, quiet, get away from all the noise, because a lot of times we can't even break free from everything that is going on around us. That's how we get distracted from doing what we need to do. We need to learn how to detach and spend time with our own thoughts, because a lot of us don't even know what our own voice sounds like anymore, because there's so much noise everywhere around us. Do not be afraid to get with yourself and reflect and focus on your strengths. We could sit around and talk all day about what we don't have, what didn't happen, and who shot John, and all the rest of this stuff. We could do that all day. But what we should do and what could develop us is we focus on our strength and what we have. Because when you focus, if you're lifting weights and all you thinking about is how weak you are, the heavier those 25 or 50 pounds are going to feel, because you're not focusing on your strength. Focus on the strength so that you can grow. Focus on your strength so that you can heal. And focus on your strength so that you can equip somebody with the tools that they need so that they can make it. So that they can have a breakthrough. So there is a light. I don't care if it's a pinhole. Light will always shine in a dark place. You sharing your story, you might have a conversation with someone that you deem might be just a normal conversation and not really impactful. You never know. And you won't always get confirmation that you helped someone. But I promise you, when you start sharing your story and you start shining your light, the people are going to come. The people that you need to help are going to come. I'm here. I'm here. I may not get confirmation from anybody, but the people that's in here right now, and I thank God that you are here. Thank you. I may not get confirmation from the people that watch the replay, but I thank God they come on here and watch it. I thank you, Lord, because guess what? I never know who needs it, but I do know I need to continue to shine my light to help others. So, although my journey, I will tell you, looking backwards and in that place, it was painful, and it was just, but it was painful, but it was packed with power. But I didn't recognize the power till I got on the other side. And the goal is to be on the other side. Embrace your journey. Don't be embarrassed of your story. Overcome in order to help others. Be mindful of the conversations you have with yourself. Spend time with yourself. Meditate and commune with God. Hear his voice, because your powers are there. Tap into them. Just tap into them. I promise you. They already poking at you. You just got to give them some time and introduce yourself to your powers, and your power will introduce themselves to you. I hope this has been helpful. I promised I wasn't going to be on here long tonight, but I do want to say thank you for coming on to Transformation Conversations. I hope you go and break barriers. I hope you learn how to embrace your story. If you want more information about embracing your story, you want to get equipped with the tools that you need to rewrite your story. You don't have to stay in that box. You don't have to stay in that place that people say the women in your family only do this. You have the power and the authority to change your story. You can take yourself as far as you tell yourself you can go. If you see the ticker down below, it's telling you to text the word story to 321-878-8587. Get on the wait list for the Rewrite Your Story group coaching program. There's going to be an information webinar. When you sign up, you'll get the information for that. Find out about the program. If you're a good fit for the program, we will definitely get you signed up. So until I see you all next time, do 3 things for yourself every single day. Give yourself grace to be where you are. Give yourself a chance to do something new, and give yourself permission to move forward and be great and step into your story, because your beginning is anywhere that you start. Thank y'all. I want to say it is an honor to be here with y'all tonight. If you watch the replay, leave comments. I come in and I read the comments. Thank y'all for being on here with me live. I am Coach Gail Benson, and I'm going to see y'all next time. Love you. Bye. Bye, T. Bye, Quee. Thank y'all so much for coming on.